I think you're absolutely right. You know, a team like Edelweiss can just come out and take down a surprising win, or take a surprising win over Guild. And it really is on Guild to control the game. And how about this? An open net for Though right off the bat. And it's 1-0 Guild.
Interesting here for Justice on the kickoff. I mean, he went for the boost and then hit the brakes. And then I don't even think he realized Though was behind him. I went to his camera and I thought maybe he had a weird internet hiccup or something, but no. He just thought a teammate was back because he took ball cam off to look behind him. No one was there. And then Though just came right over his shoulder and rolled it into the net.
And this is another one of those kind of general points for a matchup like this is you really don't want to give up those early kind of easy goals for the bigger team, a team like Guild, when you're going up against them. You want to keep it close as long as you possibly can, because that does frustrate a team who, you know, in my eyes, for Guild, the expectation is a win here. I don't think they are, anything less, obviously, is not what they're aiming for here. So the longer you can keep it close, the better off you are if you're a team like Edelweiss.
I agree, but here's a pass up to Lewis. Wants a double tap, stretching, and got all the way to it, but too far around the ball, wide of the mark. And a valiant attempt. Justice denied by Though. And Nolly uncontested, big miss, turn around, Mirror getting bumped and got there.
And these are the mistakes that Guild are going to give you, and Mirror was lucky to get around to this one because he did get clipped. And Though almost got back to that ball, but it was smart for Mirror to recognize that Guild very eager to push up the field there, and they're punished for it without a good clear.
Well, they should have been eager to move up the field. I mean, how often do you expect Nolly to just miss a free uncontested touch like that? And to make that worse, I mean, Though was pretty convinced he had a solid bump on Mirror in the midfield. Basically T-boned him, and unfortunately, instead of getting the demo or pushing him into space, he really just turned his car around and had the breakaway happen. Tough break for Guild, especially after getting a give me on the kickoff. And now Edelweiss pushing off the backboard, just off the post.
We're definitely catching out a couple of those defenders, and right now Edelweiss definitely putting on the pressure here on Guild. Here's Scrub in the midfield, had a bit of space to work with, but it's right back into Edelweiss's hands.
Touch back, Mirror, challenged by Nolly, free ball for Justice. Scrub will leave it for Though. He's got one to his left, but again, nice early challenges. Good approach from Edelweiss. You really don't want to leave anybody on this Guild roster with an uncontested approach. Nolly out of the corner, denied by Lewis. Mirror trying to size things up, kind of leaving Justice in an open spot, but thankfully that ball took a big pinch and allowed some extra time. Nolly trying to keep the pressure up. They might have stretched themselves a little too thin here, especially with Though getting aggressive there. Justice can't quite get the pass back down. Takes a big skip into the middle, and that should be a reset for everyone, with Scrub just trying to keep the pressure going.
The defense certainly being tested here by Guild as Edelweiss are able to break out. But one thing I've noticed about the defense of Edelweiss, they're very eager to jump up at any ball in the air. And a lot of times it's very late on that challenge. And Guild have just didn't even have to beat them because it was very clear that that defender was never going to get there. So for Edelweiss, you know, I don't know if it's just the nerves of the game or if they're just getting into it here and picking up the speed at which Guild are coming at them, but they're very happy to jump up at these balls that Guild are very clearly getting to first.
Ooh, but Mirror gets to this one first. It's a race, but off the backboard, Nolly with a height advantage, able to get there first. Lewis trying to keep the pressure up, taken away by Though. Mirror out of his own corner, toss into open space, and actually Scrub and Nolly, nobody goes for it. Nolly not under pressure, Mirror not able to recover and go for a bump. Means it's punched back, and Lewis wants that hit back, thankfully. Went straight back into him.
Whew. He's a speedy boy too. Even after giving up the possession, they're back into the corner and immediately picking up that full canister to catch back up with that ball. And it was a great clear from him as well. He's going to need help from his team here with this attack from Guild, and a second touch from Scrub is cleared away.
Nolly out to the side, Scrub back to Though. Nice approach for a controlled push onto offense, but they lose command of the ball in the midfield. Nolly, one more go across, straight down the middle, and Lewis will push that aside, no problem. Scrub Killer trying to get that hard bounce off the ramp up the sidewall, but got a little too far under it, and it popped straight up. Nolly trying to keep the pressure going in the midfield. Edelweiss doing well. Like you were saying, Corelli, you want to keep it close as long as possible. Well, it's been 1-1 for about 4 minutes now. And Lewis with a nice long clear. Nolly well ahead of that play. And Justice gives him space. Toss up, and Justice saw it coming, but thankfully out of reach if you're an Edelweiss fan. As Mir tips up to himself, and actually will leave it for Lewis. Big miss, and again, Justice kind of in no man's land. Scrub under pressure, had to get rid of it, and that's a big play from Mir to get Scrub to jump early.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar play that happened to Guild when they gave up a goal. They expected the touch, and the big miss there from Lewis ended up giving space for Guild, and they might have one last chance here with 10 seconds left.
Ollie towards the top left, both jump in the net. Nobody there to try and pick it up. Tho was playing patiently in the midfield, didn't want to give away a breakaway. 5 seconds left, across the goal, dangerous play from Scrub, and Nolly's not even going to let it get that far into the middle. Tho's up first, will win the ball, and that should be overtime. So a nice last-ditch effort for both teams, but well handled on both sides as Mir off the kickoff to himself. Over one, Scrub Killer with an attempt at a catch, and Justice reading it well right on his nose when he landed it.
And I like what we've seen here from Guild, even though, like we've been talking about, it's been kept close. You see a lot of passing plays coming out from not so much of the solo plays that we've seen in regionals past. And it's opening up a lot more space for them and really igniting that offense to make sure that this blue side is locked in, and a lot more. You saw even in that last play there, as we went into overtime, everyone, or that last man back for Guild rather, was very conservative on that approach. And I think that's what's letting Guild into these closer games.
And it does bode well. Not flustered, it would seem, by how big of a downturn today is taken for Guild as well. Calm still functioning if they're willing to take that calm, cool, collected approach. And Edelweiss here in overtime starting to get a little scrappy. Scrub Killer makes a great stop. It's onto Tho's hood, up the other way. Over one, can he double tap it? Will get to it all the way to the back post, away from the defenders. Tho, not a lot of room to work with, and got it done.
Well, if Guild's going to score it, it's going to be something like this. And a great setup from Tho after that last man in the defense on the blue side there for Edelweiss. Definitely got a bit dicey at the end of that overtime, maybe in the last 20, 25 seconds. It definitely felt like Guild were getting the better of them, and that's what happens. That space opens up behind that last defender, and you know players like Tho are going to just double tap those in.
And Edelweiss as well, whenever they got put into a kind of a tough situation, maybe a half chance at best, definitely a little too jumpy, I would say, on the goal line, starting to double commit, not quite able to stay as calm, cool, collected as Guild were, and that is the value of experience. Overall, a great game, but Edelweiss, they know they probably could have won that one. They know that one silly goal 4 or 5 seconds in was the downfall ultimately, but they did show that they can at least keep up to pace. It's not like they're massively outclassed here. Just one awkward mistake, and then trying to make the most of a bad situation, and Tho made him pay. He executed.
And game two, as this is what I always say, at least, just kind of my gut feeling when I see matches like this, is going to be the real teller of who is going to be the more dominant team here in this series. Because a lot of times you see game ones, teams are figuring each other out. These guys probably haven't played each other that much. So when it comes down to game two, we've got one game under our belt against each other, and the team that's going to adapt better most likely are going to kind of expose the opposition a bit more here in this game. That scoring might open up for one side.
And that puts all that pressure on Edelweiss because they're the ones that come up with a game one loss, so they have to make the adjustments and prove that they can hang with Guild. And honestly, all it really starts with is making sure that they don't lose their footing too early on defense. Otherwise, I think they held up quite well with Guild's approach to the passing, and they will just steal away a poor touch here to start off game two.
Yeah, and Justice gets under one here. Great fake on Scrub, and then Tho and Nolly both go for the same ball. Comes right out to Lewis, and he's able to put it away. Of course, it's a wide open net, but a double commit from Guild is what opens up that space. And here we are 1-0 in favor of Edelweiss.
Pretty much the inverse of game one. Edelweiss gave up a really simple goal to Guild, to be honest. And Guild give one here to start off game two. We'll see if Edelweiss able to hang on to it. Going for that demo in their own corner to try and relieve a little bit of pressure. Justice keeps it out. Lewis is able to also make it across the goal line and make a big stop.
That was such a dangerous save, too. Lewis was going for that the entire time there on that side wall, was just waiting for that shot to line up. And he does so very well on that save. And now again on the ball, can he set up his team? Wasn't that bad of a pass, but a bit too close, and the clear comes out.
An awkward one as well, and Mir really not able to get a good handle on this. Lewis again up there early. Nolly just trying to pass it back. Hospital ball and Scrub able to keep with it. Pass out to Tho. Justice up early. Mir is trapped on the backboard, and Scrub will make him pay. Mir had to hit the brakes, and you knew it was going to be sketchy after that.
Yeah, Lewis was down on the far side of the Guild's half, and Mir, like you said, was trying to get the read from the sidewall just off the mark on that bounce shot. He might have had it if it was directly on net, just depending on where they shot it, but unfortunate situation. You really don't want to have to make a lot of those saves. That's 2 now that they've gone for. They're 50% on it. Lewis got one earlier, but Mir couldn't handle that one, and that's a hard save to make, honestly. I don't care who you are.
Kidding.
And a big demo is going to open up the goal for Justice, and Edelweiss take back the lead.
Anali's thinking something else is going to happen here. He's trying to boost down into the ground and maybe try and catch it, but he realizes he's too far in front of the ball. And so he's hoping that the player behind him is going to pick up the dribble, but the guy behind him got demoed. And Edelweiss get the ball and the goal right back.
And there's been a lot of transition from the Guild half where Lewis is just behind the Guild players, bumping them or chasing them around, that time getting a demo. Guild have to be watching behind their backs right now, and a second touch from Tho doesn't come through. Lewis is certainly headhunting.
Pass to Tho on the sidewall, down to Nolly, right side, and again, a couple people jumping up for that Edelweiss defense, but at the end of the day, they make the save and have a nice clean transition. Bounce off the backboard. Lewis is there. They'll turn it in. It's a 2-goal lead for Edelweiss.
And I'm curious to know what happened to Nolly here. He watched this play develop. He knew this ball was over, but he just misread it. I think he got a little too jump happy there, and unfortunately knew he couldn't get back to it as he floats into the back of his net. And great follow-up from Edelweiss. Certainly don't want to take away the great work on that goal, but Nolly, a bit of a jump there, just throws off his read.
And here's the part that I think, close call. Tho off the backboard just above the crossbar. But this is the part of the game where I think it really shows what kind of team you are if you're Edelweiss, because you cannot give Guild anything. Yes, you have a 2-goal lead. You're just about to hit the halfway mark. But how do you properly make sure that you don't take your foot off the gas pedal, you don't make silly mistakes, and get them right back into this game? And that's what Edelweiss has to do. Focus on sound fundamentals, but they leave Justice in the one-on-one versus Nolly. Turns it into the top left, and now they've got half the game to score 1.
2 pads to work with for Justice, and that's a very tall order when Nolly's flying up over your head. And I guess he just didn't get the read on it because Nolly didn't really do anything that special with it. He really just took it straight at the net, and Justice thought maybe more was coming. And he knew he was in a tough position with low boost, and that will give you 1 back for Guild and maybe more.
Lewis, denied by Scrub Killer. Great read. Nolly up early. Maybe thinking Scrub wasn't going to be able to get to that. Hard bounce around the walls. Justice comes up empty. Nolly was just going to put this into space, and Mir forced to push it off his own back wall. Tho one more time up there, really causing Edelweiss to use a lot of boost to try and keep this ball away. This is going to be tough if Scrub Killer can handle this right. Gets it out, and Mir gets the bump on Nolly, and they bail him out again with a big bump play. Mir breakaway off the mark.
Scrub diving in. Great play here from Mir off the ceiling, and unfortunately no one there from Edelweiss to get back to it. But you can see teams now trading blows, and that demo game is certainly opening up for both sides. Lewis definitely getting some Guild players, and it's something that you always got to keep in the back of your head. Where is Lewis if you're on Guild? Because right now he's doing a great job of getting those demos and slowing up the attack.
Mir trying to figure out how he wants to approach this. Scrub Killer uncontested pickup here. Bounce into the middle, Tho towards the goal. Another 2 people commit, but a healthy bounce out in towards the middle of the pitch. Mir off the ceiling. Nolly, long push up towards that blue half, and Lewis doing his best to keep it close. There's a demo on the goal line. Lewis wisely slowing pace of play down right there. Didn't want to force something and maybe get caught with no one back as his teammates waiting for the pass. Scrub Killer trying to take it across his own net. Nolly, great fake through 1. And is it all the way? No, Mir is able to stay with it. Tho, not the cleanest touch. Nolly just trying to keep the play going, and Lewis now with a chance to break through Scrub Killer. off the ceiling, loses a little bit of control. Hard bounce, Justice just trying to keep the play up. Nolly has more time than he thinks. Justice comes through with a bump to buy extra space. But unfortunately, Edelweiss just not in position, don't have the boost to really make the play come to fruition. Off the top right, denied by Justice. Down in front, Scrub Killer goes low and it bounces in. Tough break, and Guild fight all the way back.
Oh, that shot from Tho was so good. And then he gets the block on Lewis, and it comes straight down to Scrub. And that's great game sense to know that that play was still alive. Scrub's so close to the net, and that block comes right down on top of his head. Guild able to tie it up with 2 seconds left.
There's the overtime. Edelweiss gonna be frustrated. I think they would have been more okay, to be honest, if it got equalized earlier, but it's always so irritating when it's under 10 seconds and that tying goal goes in. Now they gotta fight for one more. Mirror out of the orange corner, high touch for Justice. Nolly committing so early, Lewis goes right side. Scrub Killer able to dive across out of the corner and make the save. Almost a complete breakdown for Guild, but they get out one more time.
That wasn't the best strike from Lewis either. It was right back into the pit of players. He had the left side a bit more open. It was quite congested in front of the net, but it wasn't the best touch from him. I don't think he got the power that he wanted, and now Guild threatening again. You can see this defense very dicey on the side of Edelweiss, but here comes Justice with a second touch, and Scrub does make the save, though, has to bail him out, and Edelweiss threatening here as Lewis comes from the ceiling.
Big takeaway, double commit from Edelweiss out of the midfield. Gonna have to recover here fairly swiftly. Throw to Nolly, left side into the goal. Guild will bring it all the way back from 1-3 down and win in OT.
And you called it a cheese. They're going to have to recover quickly here. And again, coming from the sidewall or from the top of the net. And that's such a tough save to make, and a great touch by Nolly, to put it on target with that power. And Guild steal away game 2 to go up 2-0 in the series.
Frustration, I'm sure, in abundance for Edelweiss right now. They know they really should have had that one. Just tried to press a little too hard there at the end. Got beat on one challenge. And again, Nolly's executed. To be fair, I think Nolly's had a bit of a spotty day on the defensive side of things. I don't think he's had the greatest ball control. But on the other side of that, he has had phenomenal execution when he's got up onto that offensive part of the pitch. He's really turned in some nice goals.
And in this series alone, this Guild team has looked very different than the Guild teams that I've been watching through the last couple of regionals. And I think this is the shape and the play that I expected from a team like Guild. I like the passing that we're seeing, using your teammates as an asset, moving downfield. We're not seeing so many air dribbles into open space. We're not seeing a lot more, or so many solo plays that lead to really nothing. And most importantly is Guild are putting away their shots in this game. Yeah, they generated a lot in that last game. I don't remember exactly. It was well over 10. But for Guild, there were a lot more quality chances, and you have to give some credit to the defense of Edelweiss to block a lot of those shots that we saw. But I like the way Guild are playing. Even though it's close, I think they're really learning how to use each other to move downfield, and it is really paying off in some of these games.
Ooh, bit of a mishap here for Edelweiss at the start of game 3, trying to get a pass to Lewis, and it's well behind him. And it ends up just getting jammed here in the Edelweiss corner. Pass in the middle. Nolly top center. Lewis can't cover it. And Guild jump all over the mis-executed attempt to transition.
Yes, sir, Scrub. The backflip right to Nolly. Wonderfully executed by Guild. And that's so important as that third man is waiting for that ball to pop out. And no matter what way your teammate's facing, he can still get it to you. And such a great pass from Scrub. Perfectly on the nose of Nolly. And a great strike from him. A 1-0 lead from Guild.
So, towards that backboard, Justice, some space to work with, trying to get the flip reset, couldn't get all the way back down to it. Scrub to Tho, to Nolly. Nolly pulls away from the play, doesn't want to stay with it, feels it's too risky, gets it right back though, and puts more pressure on the goal line of Edelweiss. Mirror up the sidewall, able to stop Tho's attempt to steal the play. Nolly towards Tho, back into the middle. Nolly will get there. And Corelli, what were you saying about using your teammates as an asset? Well, here it is.
It's a perfect example. Nolly over one, back down to Nolly, and that huge gap between Lewis and that first challenger from Edelweiss is really what lets Guild take advantage here. And that's the power of passing. You get to unlock that space behind that first defender and those gaps between players 1, 2, and 3 on the opposition. And Guild definitely showed it right here. Here's Lewis, though, trying to go up and over the bump, and Lewis gets one back.
Talk about working some wizardry. 43 boost in the tank. How do you beat Tho? Make it look like you're going to go for a big 180 flip into the top and then just go right for him and smash him out of the way. That is a fantastic dribble from Lewis to get him back within 1. And on the ensuing kickoff, Lewis looking for a little help, can't find any, smashed off the backboard. Scrub comes up empty. Mirror needs to score this, and Tho is able to make a big stop. Justice with a second chance.
Got two.
Wants a double tap. Nolly comes off the ceiling, and since Justice went for the double tap, lets him go right by, and just like that, you're tied.
So hectic for the Guild defense. After such discipline on offense, you see a lot of players jumping at the ball, and that was a great first touch by Justice to beat that first man. He knew with that ball hanging in the box for so long, there was going to be some time for him to play around with it. And he picked the right way to do it as he went off the backboard and put it in. And that's a great way to tie things up if you're on Edelweiss.
3.5 minutes and a 2-2 score in a must-win game for Edelweiss. Nolly uncontested out of the midfield. He's had some success today already. He gets a strong block, but doesn't really have any continuation. Scrub killer. Considering Tho will just take it himself. Wants the double tap off the backboard, and Nolly trying to muscle it through Justice. Can't get the job done, and it's a good 30 seconds of offense here for Guild. Lewis continuing to go for those bump plays, trying to put a big wrench in anything that Guild want to try and do.
You could even see there, Justice landed, didn't have any chance at the ball, just tried to go for that last player to buy his teammates time to push up the field and maybe pick up the ball for him. But you're seeing a lot more of this ball being thrown downfield from Edelweiss, and Guild are there to receive it and then back onto attack. And you're seeing these solo plays. You know, I don't really mind Guild going for them as much when they're given so much space by Edelweiss right now. There's a lot of space for Guild to work with.
Oh man, Lewis going for a very finesse touch. Unfortunately, couldn't get all the way behind it. Justice, aggressive push as the third man, pops it into the middle. Scrub Killer doesn't really have too much here. Still gets it through one defender, but will have to give the ball up. Though I think perhaps a little too aggressive, but thankfully Nolly far enough back to handle the rebound. Justice, pushed back by Nolly. Free ball for Scrub Killer again. How do you make it work? Oh, a poor liftoff from Scrub. Still got the bump and opens the door for Tho. Big play, straight down. How do you get rid of this? Justice is forced to dump it off to Nolly into the middle. Scrub with a bouncer. That's pushed away. Tho is a little too close, and Guild will have to back off.
Well, and there was a couple of failed attempts there from Guild to pick that ball up, and it's really what bailed out Edelweiss there, because boy, was that defense all over the place, up and down the walls there, as nobody was actually really on the goal line to make any shot save there. And Guild just never could generate a good shot on target. It was, that defense felt dead to rights there if they had gotten a good shot from the Guild side.
Scrub, quick dribble in front of his own goal. Tho with a big touch out of the corner of his own side of the field. Scrub Killer off the ceiling. Thinking about how to get this one closer to the blue net, and now we're just playing smash the ball as hard as you can away from your side. Scrub Killer tries to slow things down just a touch and takes an unfortunate skip off the back of his car all the way down to the orange end. Mirror towards the right side. Tho keeps it out. Don't even know if that was in, but a massive save, and Scrub with the follow-up clear.
Wow, what a shot from Mir. That was great, but still can't find the back of the net, and Guild now threatening as that ball's pinched away. That would have been huge for Edelweiss. Can they generate another chance like that? They've been far and few between at the moment.
Lewis needs a little help. Mir, rightly so, gets aggressive and throws it back into the orange corner. Bounce into the middle, uncontested. Is anyone there? It's just Tho, and Justice has gone so late to the ball. Tho trying to slow it down. Mir somehow gets a handle on it. Lewis diving. It's a scramble for Edelweiss on defense. Scrub Killer just trying to pick off the bad clears. Dumps into the middle, and a welcome touch from Lewis, and they are looking for overtime. They will happily let that one touch the floor.
I've said it a couple times. Edelweiss's defense definitely shaky when things pick up the pace and there's a couple of misses or hard touches off the back wall. And even some of these air dribbles from Guild are beating those men to the back wall. And it's very tough to recover with a team like Guild with how fast all three of these players are on the team. They will be all over you. Here's the pass. Great save from Justice. But Nolly's there. Another huge save from Justice. Him alone to block the shots. Though another one and a save from Mir this time. The defense hanging strong for Edelweiss.
How in the world did he pull that ball out? They get the stuff and Tho just in time to keep that one from rolling into the Guild net. Nolly able to slip things past them for just a moment. But Edelweiss now on the attack. Justice sizing up the touch out of the corner. Tho up early to try and take it away. There's the demo. It's going to fall down in front, and Lewis will knock it home. Edelweiss off the back of a massive defensive stand from Justice. Turn it around and win game 3.
And Justice getting that demo too. Nolly was there to make the save, but Lewis smashes it home. What a way to stay in the series if you're Edelweiss. My goodness. What a close game. The defense just barely hanging on. 9 saves from them. They had to deal with 12 shots, or 13 shots, excuse me, from Guild. My goodness, Edelweiss. That one gets your heart going just a little bit. That gets the blood pumping.
You're definitely going to be feeling real good after that. But you can't sit on that too long. You still got 10 more minutes to go if you want to win. And there were some great pushes from both teams here in this game. Some very creative approaches to goal scoring. And while we may be obviously rightfully hyping up Justin's double save right here, don't even know how he pulled that out. Tho also had a couple of real big stops, but at the end of the day, somehow Edelweiss scramble back in some tough spots, turn it into a win, and they put Guild on another match. So, Guild, this is fine. This is the time where you settle back down. You say, all right, it's just one. We've got 2 more. And that's what you were talking about before the series even began. You can't lose your head.
Yep, exactly that. And I think now you get one on the board here if you're Edelweiss, and I think you're happy about it as well. That was a well-earned win with those defensive stops. And, of course, a couple of great goals from Lewis and Justice. Mir didn't have a lot of options there, low boost. Let's see what they bring out here in this next game. Do they keep that same energy? Certainly the defense needs to be cleaned up from Edelweiss. You cannot have a couple games like that back-to-back where you're just hanging on by a thread. Guild will not let that happen.
Yeah, you will eventually get picked apart one way or the other. Off the top corner, Nolly and Tho both commit. Justice with a great takeaway. He just needs to avoid Scrub Killer. Unfortunately, Scrub's the one with the boost there on that transition back to the orange side, so he ends up with possession. And Tho will punt that ball away. Justice and Mir trying to size up what they want to do. Let that ball roll perhaps an uncomfortably long amount of time, but still able to make the play. Scrub out of the corner. Nasty hop. Nolly just able to get the hood of that car on it and tip it away to allow the opportunity to reset on defense for Guild. Pass down to Nolly.
Nolly!
Banger out of the midfield. Not sure how this one found its way into an open goal.
Well, unfortunately for Justice, nobody was there from Edelweiss, and Lewis and Mir get caught on the right side of the field, and I think Nolly knew it. And a great shot on target. That gap from the midfield all the way to the goal line is really what came back to bite him.
Lewis had 32 boost and thought he had time to go grab the corner boost on his own side. And it wasn't even there, unfortunately, so just pulled himself out of position for just a moment. And Guild jumped on it.
It felt like a conservative approach there from Edelweiss on offense. Justice was really the only one. He didn't have a lot of options to work with, and everyone kind of went back. So it felt like they weren't comfortable with that attack. But if you're going to go back, you've got to make sure you've covered the net, especially against a team like this, Guild. They'll take any shot from anywhere, really.
Because why not? Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they take themselves out of position for just a moment. And Lewis trying to launch one in much the same way that Guild did. 2 demos, 1 for each team. And Scrub able to ping one off the post. And a free ball for Edelweiss. Mirror and Justice kind of running into each other, though. Nolly's up nice and early on defense to make sure that that one finds its way out of their own half. Mirror on front of the goal line. a dangerous situation, and they are fortunate that Guild was not there because that would have been free.
Didn't have any boost to work with either. And again, this defense very dicey. A lot of balls bouncing really in front of the goal line here. And here's Scrub with some space. I think he wanted that pass over to Though, but he wasn't ready for it.
Mirror will win a nice challenge at the midfield line. Lewis continues the follow-up. Here's Justice. Now they're all looking like they're on the same page, but Scrub Killer gets a massive steal from their own half. Gets it to punch all the way to the blue side of the field. And now, just like that, it's Edelweiss once again trying to figure out how to stop Guild, and Guild is given a lot of ground here, but a hard press forward from Edelweiss, perhaps too hard, leaves Lewis in a bad spot. Nolly tries to fire again. Mirror can't quite do it. He jumped just a moment early.
Oh my goodness. And again, another ball clean off the back wall, bounces at the top of the box, and you know that's a dangerous situation. Mirror watched it go over his head all the way through and just jumped a bit too early. Thought that shot was coming a little bit harder, and in the end, just bounces right by him.
Unfortunate for Edelweiss. They went real hard at that approach in the midfield when Guild had backed off. They sent 2 players forward, and now they need to score 2 goals in a minute 30 or so. Pops out to Justice. If he can get this one, great steal from Though, coming her over his shoulder, right down the middle, and Scrub Killer's got no problem with that. And here's where Guild can really make you pay. Late in the match, they know they don't have to commit too hard to be successful, and there's 3 people forward. Though will tap this one in, and that's the dagger.
And I'm curious to know, Though was just stealing this back boost, and a big clear comes out and says, thank you very much. That goal is definitely wide open. I'll take the boost. I'll take the goal. We'll go back to kickoff.
What's funny is Though didn't even have to think about it. He stole that boost, had ball came on, sees 3 blue players in front of him. He doesn't even have to think about defenders. He's like, all right, just put it on target. This one's easy.
And to your point, it does feel like now Edelweiss really needs some magic. 2 players coming from the ceiling. Maybe that's the magic they need. I don't know. But still not generating any offense for them, as Guild are just happy to run out the clock at this point.
Absolutely. And you might even see Edelweiss commit even harder now. You see Mirror pushing forward early, trying to slip it in between that gap, and Though again just able to push one off this backboard. Down the side, Mirror had a gap, but not enough of one to actually put it on target. Feels like Guild, they're content to just drive away, stick 2 people on the goal line, and tell them score it if you can.
20 seconds left. I think that'll be it. Otherwise, you know, they put up a good fight here in this series. It was close. It certainly was close, especially that last game. Obviously getting their win, but I mean, for Edelweiss, I think they learned a lot, especially going up against a team like Guild, a team that can expose you with those gaps in the defensive side of things. We saw that a couple times here, and I think there's a lot to learn here if you're a team like Edelweiss. Guild has taught them a few lessons.
Definitely a good match. And to be honest, really all Edelweiss had to do, like you said, I think the one sticking point that felt pretty consistent across the whole thing was sometimes that defense just got a little too divey. Never really felt like the offense was able to fully gel together. And that just shows you why Guild are just that 2-3 notches above them. You know, Edelweiss wasn't massively outclassed. It's just they had the control, consistency, and always being on the same page with whatever they wanted to do. If Guild were going to be on offense, they were going to have people to pass to. If they were going to be on defense, they were going to try and make sure and not get in each other's way and just make sure they're ready to react to whatever happens next. And Edelweiss felt a little scrambly on defense, and sometimes that cohesion wasn't there when it really needs to be on the offensive front. But overall, a great series, and you're right. Definitely one you can learn from.
I think for Guild, on their side of things, this was, in my opinion, a fantastic showing from Guild. I think that the play style that they presented was much better than what we've seen in a lot of these series. And maybe they changed it up just because maybe they didn't know as much about this team. But I do feel like Guild have a lot of good things going for them. Even with this 3-2 record going into stage 2, I'm very happy with the performance looking at Guild here today.
Absolutely. Well, that wraps up another series here on RLCS. And when we return, we will have our final match of the day. It will be Rick's GG versus Nameseekers. Stick around. You're not going to want to miss it.